you're recording. I'm going to go back there.
Good morning. Everything's ready and we are live on YouTube.
Good morning.
Good morning, Representative Aurora. Before we start, I believe you were going to get me the names of, I can look them up on my computer, but if you have the names of the policy people for the Republican caucuses.
Yeah, so it's going to be Greg Hannon. Greg should be here if shortly. I'm assuming he will join us.
Good morning, Harry.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rich.
Robin.
Good morning, Lee.
Morning, Robin.
Good morning.
Good morning, CTN.
Morning.
Ray.
Good morning. I hope my audio is corrected.
Oh, much better.
Morning, Rob.
Excellent.
And,
Okay.
and the last question here for Senator Sampson, your policy person, can you share his name with me? Oh, it's James Rock, right?
Yeah, it's Rocco. Yeah.
And do you know if he's joining us today?
I'm sorry I didn't hear you.
Do you know if he's joining today?
I do not.
Okay.
I presume he's on the invite.
Yes, he was. And so I will definitely mention his name regardless of whether or not he's on.
Sure.
Okay, great.
Julie,
Yes,
Julie, I just wanted to interrupt for a minute. We are going to allow people a grace period. I know you said you wanted to start at 10 on the dot, but
Okay.
we need to give people a few minutes grace to get in. And if they're having technical difficulties like Sampson just had, we need to allow for that
no problem.
because I don't see any of our members on yet.
Okay. Yeah, they probably won't get on until right at 10.
Well, I did get a message from Manny. He's going to be a few minutes late because he's wrapping up another meeting.
Okay.
So that's my vice chair.
I don't expect this will be a long meeting. I think we all been through a lot of these organizational meetings and they tend to go pretty smoothly and pretty quickly. Just for Representative Aurora and Senator Sampson, we will ask our clerk to go through the Zoom protocols, which I'm sure you've seen on other organizational meetings. We've all seen them now many times. We will do that toward the end of the meeting. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. And when people introduce themselves, which I've seen on the other organizational meetings, and I think it's helpful for the public and also for other committee members, is when we do our introductions, just saying what towns we represent, the number of our district, the towns we represent, and the committees that we're on. I think that is, nice for people to know. So it is now 10:01, and I see we're starting to get some folks.
Well, all the Republican senators are present.
You don't have a hard time rounding up your crew.
Yes.
Lucky you.
Mr. Anderson.
Morning.
Good morning, Representative Anderson.
Good morning, Representative Porter.
How are you?
I am well. 3 cups of coffee. I'm ready to go.
Uh-oh. Fired up and ready to go. I'm going to share with you guys something that I discovered because when I started doing Zooms, like you have a little feedback, Anderson, and I think it may just be your internet connection. I was having those issues at home. So whenever I go on Zoom, I always opt to dial in. And when I dial in, I never have any of those internet interruptions. So
Representative Riccigliano is also waiting to be allowed in the room. Yes,
Okay.
please.
And Devin, it might be worthwhile to, if we have contact information, to text or Taylor. I just texted Senator Lesser, but I don't know if maybe someone could help text the other members who are not on yet. We're missing Representative Vargas and Representative Hughes and Representative Hall.
I'm here.
Oh, great. Good that you're here.
all right, I didn't see. I just text you, Ann.
Yep, I got it.
I text Vargas.
And Hall. And so we have Anderson and we have Riccigliano coming on, right? And Chris Adams, I believe Chris's policy, right? With
Yes, Chris Adams and Greg Hannon are the 2 folks from our side, from the House Republican Policy Group.
Great. I'll add him to the list.
And they're both on.
Yes. And I see Matt Lesser is now on. So I think the only person we are
I don't see Representative Riccigliano. He's texting me that he's waiting.
Devin, are you seeing? I think Devin is on. Devin, are you seeing Representative Riccigliano?
I am not.
Let's hope that he's in the right link.
Can the representative tell us what his name is? Because we have a couple of people that we don't recognize in the waiting room.
Who do you have there? Phone numbers?
There's no phone numbers. It's someone called Sitting Duck.
Can we ask that person? Does anybody know who Sitting Duck is? And if not, can you ask, when you do admit him, Devin, would you ask him to rename himself because it's going to be televised?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Dave Riccigliano. He owns a restaurant by that name.
Okay.
Thanks, Ann.
We are live now. I just wanted to make sure people know that we are live and recording.
I understand also, Madam Chairman, that James Rocco is in the waiting room.
And does he perhaps have a different name also? Devin is, okay.
Yes.
Representative Riccigliano, I wonder if we could ask you to, thank you.
You did.
Thank you.
Yes, we do lots of Zooms under lots of different names, so sorry.
That's okay. And what about the last person I believe we are waiting for is,
Representative Hall
yes.
and Representative Sanchez. I don't see him yet.
Because it is 10:06, I would suggest that we get started, and as people are admitted, we will allow them to introduce themselves. So let me now convene this meeting of the Labor and Public Employees Committee. My name is Senator Julie Kushner. I represent the 24th District, Senate District, And that is the towns of Sherman, New Fairfield, Danbury, and part of Bethel. And this is my second term, and I am returning as chair of the Labor and Public Employees Committee. I'm very honored to have this position and to have been appointed by our Senate leadership. And I want to say, just as by way of introduction, that I know that this session will be very challenging for us. We are living in a time where working families in Connecticut have suffered greatly from the pandemic. Both those families who have suffered losses of family members, illness, loss of jobs. It is a very difficult time. And, we're fortunate in that I believe that we have made some good decisions, and in many ways, we have survived this well, and we can look forward to a strong recovery. But part of our responsibility today in this session will be to make sure that we're doing everything we can in state government to provide for working families, for labor and public employees, as that's our area of cognizance. And it will be challenging with the protocols that we have to establish by doing things virtually, but there's also opportunities in this, opportunities for perhaps more public participation because of the availability to actually join us virtually when you can't always get away from work or get away from family to come to the Capitol. And so we look forward to making this a great session and doing everything we can to solve problems and make this continue to be a great state to live, work, and raise your families. So I'm very pleased to be here today. The agenda of this first organizational meeting is brief, but it mostly focuses on making sure that that we introduce ourselves, that we set the tone for the session, and that the public gets to see us beginning this very important legislative session. So with that, I would like to introduce my co-chair, Representative Porter. We've been down this road together for the last couple of years, and it's been a great partnership. Working together with Representative Porter has been an amazing experience. And so with that, I'd like to introduce you and ask you if you'd like to make a few opening remarks.
Thank you, Senator Kushner. I am starting to get my voice back, so I'm going to keep this brief. I just want to welcome everyone. Welcome back our old members, welcome our new members. And as the good senator said, I am very much looking forward to getting the work of labor done for the state of Connecticut, the hardworking people that have kept us afloat, and the folks that are looking to get back to work. And I think there are a great number of ways that we can make this happen for them. And I'm just excited to be here and excited for the challenge. That's what makes it all worthwhile, being in this building. And my mantra is teamwork makes the dream work. And I count each and every member of this committee as a team. And let's make the dream work. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Porter. And now I'd like to call on our ranking members. Senator Sampson, would you like to begin?
Good morning, Madam Chairman, and good morning, everyone. Delighted to be here with you today. This will be my first chance to serve on the Labor Committee, and delighted to represent the Senate Republican Caucus as the ranking member. I represent the 16th Senate District, which is 5 towns in central Connecticut: Southington, Wolcott, Cheshire, Prospect, and I have the east end of Waterbury also. I'll just make a couple of quick comments. One thing, and not to be negative to start with, but I just want to register my objections to the Zoom methodology for these meetings. I know that has nothing to do with the leadership of this committee in particular. I just think it's an unfortunate choice. We could have done a lot of different things. My recommendation was to do a hybrid kind of situation where people were allowed into the Capitol building and participants could join by Zoom if they felt more comfortable. I'm very concerned that people will not have access. There are people that live in the inner city, there are elderly people who are not really computer literate, and I wish they would have more access to us and the lawmaking process. And I just want to make sure that that's out there, that I did register that objection. Obviously, I'm going to work with it. We voted the rules in as a legislature, and that's what we're going to live with. I also want to say that the COVID-19 pandemic certainly has had an impact on our state, our economy, business owners, in a way that has really changed the world. But we should not forget that even more of an impact than the pandemic itself, I think, has been the government response to the pandemic. The business closures, the rules that we're following, some for good and some that maybe not so good. And I hope that's something that we might address in this committee this year. We're going to clearly differ on the way to go forward in Connecticut, but I know my colleagues want the best for every citizen, and so do I. I think we all want to see the same thing, which is, thriving citizens, a thriving economy, plenty of high-paying jobs and opportunities for people. And I'm going to work towards that dream with Representative Porter and Senator Kushner and my colleague in the House Republicans, Representative Aurora. And I look forward to working with all of you. My door is always open, and let's be an example to people across the state. Every day lately, I keep hearing of the unbelievable amount of discord that exists in the political realm. It doesn't have to be that way. These ladies that I work with here, I believe, are tremendously respectful people. And we all know that we're coming from different perspectives, and we're going to do it with class and with dignity. And I want other people to see that example and follow us. And with that, thank you very, very much, Madam Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Senator Sampson. And now I'd like to introduce our ranking member from the House. I'm looking around the screen. I apologize. I had you here before. Representative Aurora.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Thank you, Madam Co-Chairman, Chairwoman. I represent the 151st District, Greenwich, and I am honored to be on this committee and have the opportunity from our leadership to be the ranking member on this committee. When I was discussing early on committee assignments, one of the things which I told my leadership is that people, I believe, are our most important asset as a state. Anyway, whichever way you look at it, that's all it's about. And that's all the way I think about life. It's about the people in your business, in your life. That's the most important thing. And our workforce, 1.7 million people in our workforce, and the 40,000 plus state employees are our most important asset. And so I'm honored and very delighted to have this opportunity to serve them and to serve our state. Now, what I bring is, this is my first term being a ranking member. So I bring, as I would say, some freshness of ideas. Sometimes, being new is an advantage. At the same time, I do have a steep learning curve. I also bring a lot of business side experience and experience about thinking about best practices on the other side. And so which I really do hope to contribute and apply. Now, just like we've heard earlier from Chairman, both our Chairwoman and Madam Chairman and Senator Sampson, I think the most important thing is that we set an example of how to work collaboratively and with collegiality. And so far, we have already, as I would say, in our meetings in the to leading up to this introductory meeting, initial meeting, have set a really good tone. I am very thankful to both Senator Kushner and to Representative Porter for really spending time to and including us in the dialogue, and I hope that we will continue that throughout the course of this committee and make sure that we are an example to others. I think it's the discussions we bring, the life experiences we bring, as Representative Porter pointed out to me, that's what really brings the dynamism, the value added to the committee from all of us. And finally, I would like to remark on the priorities, which, as Senator Kushner said, the most important thing is that a lot of people have in our state are suffering because of the harm brought up both by the pandemic and, as mentioned before, by the closures necessitated, or the government response from the pandemic. And so, and the largest program, or the most important program so far, has been the unemployment insurance program, which, along with the federal programs, has dispersed over $6 billion. I think this is the strongest or the most important aspect of the government response on an economic basis. I don't think there's anything out there which even comes close to it. Just to give you an idea, the small business program was $50 million recently. So this is a massive program. And what is important is that this program and there is more to go. As it appears, there'll be another $2 to $3 billion dispersed in the next 6 months when you add up the uninsurance benefits or the unemployment benefits from the state, plus the federal benefits. So I think there are 2 or 3 things about this program. We know in the summer, the program ran into a lot of problems. And even now, the PUA program, which serves about 35,000 of our community members or in our state, it still needs more work. So I think it's important that we focus on the service level so that this is a good program which is available. It is available to all. I'm hearing that the PUA program is not could need help on that aspect to be available to all. Modernizing the processes and technology, we heard a lot about it. And finally, lastly, but most importantly, making sure that it's sustainable in terms of the dollars in it. It has already borrowed $400 million, and we need to focus to make sure that it doesn't become such a drag on business formation in the future because of the high premiums in the future. And I look forward to bringing other new ideas to help our workforce. And finally, we will focus on priorities and bills coming from other priorities which will be presented to us. I would say there is a difference of opinion between 2 sides, but we will definitely give our constructive opinion. I also think we need to improve on some of the programs from the past, which seem to be on not a sustainable path. We have heard a little bit about the Paid Family Leave Act and the Paid Family Leave Authority, which seems unsustainable based upon the numbers. We should discuss that, address it, because we want our programs to be sustainable. And so with that, I would say, I thank all of you, and I look forward to working on this committee and to bring some good things to fruition. Thank you. Thank you, Senator Kushner. Thank you all. Thank you, Representative Porter.
Thank you. And I will next, before I call on our vice chairs, I do want to return to Representative Porter for a minute. I know Representative Porter wanted to add a couple of things, and when you do so, I hope that you will also, I forgot to include the committees that I represent. As I'm chair of labor, I'm also vice chair of public health. I serve on appropriations, education, environment, housing, and executive nominations. And so, Representative Porter, I hope you'll share your committee assignments as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Kushner. As I stated, please excuse my voice. I'm just getting it back. But I wanted to give tribute and salute my district. It was remiss of me not to mention that I am the state representative that represents the 94th district, which is Hamden and New Haven. I also sit as a committee member on appropriations and judiciary. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And now I'd like to call on our vice chairs, starting with the vice chair from the Senate, new to our committee, new to the Senate. I'm excited to introduce Senator George Cabrera.
Thank you, Madam Chair, so much. Thank you all. Good morning. My name is George Cabrera. This is my first term. I'm looking forward to working with all of you. I represent the 17th Senate District, which is 7 towns, a big part of Hamden, Woodbridge, Ansonia, Derby, Bethany, Beacon Falls, and a nice slice of Naugatuck. And I'm very excited to work with each and every one of you. Like many of you, we're seeing the impact that the pandemic has had on all our constituents. And I think it's laid bare a lot of the inequalities that we all need to tackle. And I'm really excited. I think we have a unique opportunity to really strengthen and support families, small businesses, help them get back on their feet as we hopefully move out of this pandemic. I'm also chairing the Veterans Committee this year, serving on insurance and real estate, as well as finance and human services. So I'm very much looking forward to working with each and every one of you. Thanks.
Thank you, Senator. And now I'd like to ask Representative Manny Sanchez, who is new to the Labor Committee, and we're pleased to have you here as our Vice Chair. So please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you all for this opportunity. I serve the 24th District, and the other committees that I serve on are Education and Appropriation. There's much work to be done, and I look forward to getting it done with all the members of this committee and on behalf of the great residents of this state. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. And now I'd like to turn to the committee members to introduce yourselves. And I am going to work from the participants list. So I don't know exactly what order this will be in, but I hope to capture all of you. Actually, I'm going to do it from the screen. It's a little easier for me because I see you all. So I'm going to start with Representative Winkler.
Yes, I'm Representative Mike Winkler, 56th District. All of my district is in the town of Vernon, Connecticut. I serve on general law, labor, and let's see, I was always, in any list, I always come up one short. It'll come to me. Planning and development. And I served 38 years in the labor movement. I served 38 years as a public employee, and I look forward to working on this committee for my second term. I have 3 terms in all, 2 terms on this committee.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Vargas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Ed Vargas, and I represent South Hartford, 6th Assembly District. I'm serving my 5th term. I'm a retired teacher in the Hartford Public School System, 35 years. Also a labor leader for many, many years. And this session, Representative Speaker has appointed me as a Deputy Speaker. I'm very proud of that. And I guess I'm the veteran of this committee, serving starting my third term on this committee. And I just wanted to take a few seconds to talk a little bit about, the sense of pride I have in the work that this committee has done under the leadership of Senator Kushner and Representative Porter. I'm especially proud of the fact we were able to pass the $15 an hour minimum wage bill. Very happy that we were able to get the family leave, paid leave program started. And I have to say, sometimes we think of labor in the abstract, but frankly, labor is all of those who at one point of our lives have been engaged in the workforce. And that makes the majority of the breadwinners in the state of Connecticut. We've all been part of the labor movement. We all know, that working for a living involves a lot of sacrifice. It involves time away from family, and anything we as a committee can do to uplift our families and make sure that people that work for a living are able to be treated fairly, and that they are able to complete their careers with dignity is something that I'm very proud of. And I'm also happy that on this committee I see a lot of old friends. I see my good buddy, Senator Cabrera, who's been in the political trenches with me on occasion. I see my neighbor, my office neighbor, who now is the House ranking member, Harry Aurora. Glad to see him on the committee. And I'm very proud of our 2 co-chairs, because they fight not only on the legislative basis, but they're out there when working people need them to be out there on the picket line or on the on the front lines of the issues of working people. I've seen them always on the front line. So I just want to say this is a great committee. I also serve on the Committee on Aging, and I also serve on the Executive and Legislative Nominations Committee. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Representative Vargas, and thank you for your kind words. And of course, we look back on the 2019 session and think about all the things that we got done for working families, and particularly in this time of the pandemic, certainly those programs like the increase in the minimum wage has been very helpful to people. And I know there are many people who wish we had the paid family leave program in place last year. So many people would have been helped by that. So I appreciate your kind words. Next, I would like to move to Representative Anderson.
Good morning, Madam Chairs, committee members. Mark Anderson from the 62nd District that represents Barkhamsted, Granby, Heartland, and New Hartford. I'm also on the Commerce and Veterans Committees. I bring experience as a 32-year public employee with the federal government, including a few years as a union member and then on the management side. So it helps me bring me some understanding of their world. But on the private side, I do believe free market capitalism is best for business as well as labor, because that's the only way to grow the economy and have higher paying jobs. Looking forward to working with all of you.
Thank you, Representative Anderson. And I forgot to mention to all of you who are new, we welcome you to the Labor Committee. New to the Labor Committee, you might not be new to the legislature, but thank you for being here. Next, I have Senator Lesser. Oh, Senator Lesser, you need to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's always a struggle to find the mute button. Good morning, Madam Chair, and thank you. I'm Senator Matt Lesser, serving my second term in the State Senate and my second term on the Labor and Public Employees Committee. And I have to say it's been a pleasure to serve with you and with Representative Porter over the last 2 years. And I particularly value our collaboration, our close work on workers' compensation reform with a committee that I co-chair, the Insurance and Real Estate Committee. So excited to be back on. I represent the towns of Middletown, Cromwell, Rocky Hill, Newington, and Wethersfield.
Great. And next I see Representative Rutigliano. I saw him a minute ago. Are you still here? We may have lost Representative Rutigliano, and I know I saw earlier Representative Hughes, but I don't see her at this time. So I know if our clerk will check with both of them and see if they dropped off this Zoom, and if so, if we can make sure to get them back on. While we're doing that, I would like to take a moment and recognize some of the key assistants to our committee. So we have with us today, we've had such great resources with our Office of Legislative Research, and I saw earlier today, I saw John Moran. I see you still. John Moran is with us, and also Lee Hansen, and both John and Lee have been tremendous resources to us, and we appreciate your assistance. We also have our LCO and Rich Hanratty, and Rich worked so hard drafting these bills for us, and Rich, we call on him night and day, often at the last minute. He is always there to get things rolling for us. So we appreciate the help of both OLR and our LCOs. We also have with us some of the policy people that advise members of the committee. From Senate Democrats, we have Taylor Thorpe. From the House Democrats, we have Chris Calabrese. And from House Republicans, we have with us today Chris Adams and Greg Hannon. And from Senate Republicans, James Rocco. And it's good if people can turn on their cameras at least for a minute so we can see these very familiar faces to some of us, and for some of you, I'm sure they will be new. But thank you all for being here. I also want to introduce our new labor clerk, Devin Avshalom Smith. Devin joined us just at the beginning of this session, and we're very pleased to have you with us. We have confidence that there your learning curve will be a steep learning curve, and that you will, you've already shown that you're quite capable of making sure that the committee is on track, as witnessed by this fine Labor Committee Zoom call we're having today. So I appreciate your work, Devin, and I know all of our members of the committee will be anxious to get to know you and get to know you better. I want, because I see Representative Hughes has been able to rejoin us. So I want to go back and ask Representative Hughes to introduce herself.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, and I apologize. My battery ran out on the computer and it died, and I had to switch to another computer. Representative Ann Hughes from the 135th District, Easton, Weston, and Reading. My first time on Labor. I'm very excited about this. This is my second term, and I'm mostly excited because I am here to support protections and resources for the workforce, especially the frontline workers that are most impacted by this pandemic and long-term crisis, and to address really the entrenched systems of economic segregation as we jumpstart, as Representative Aurora said, a people-centered recovery coming out of this. So I'm happy to be here and happy to join all of you, my teammates.
Thank you. And for those of you who are watching, I do want to just mention that we today have had the assistance of two other clerks who work in the legislature, and Heatherson Ferguson Hull and Peter Mrzewski. I'm not sure I said your name correctly. Thank you for helping us today with the logistics of this call. Now what I'd like to do is actually ask our clerk to go through some of the Zoom protocols. We know that there are ways that we conduct ourselves on Zoom that will be helpful to making sure we have a smooth process. And so I'm going to ask Devin Avshalom Smith to share his screen and review the protocols with us.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Zoom guidelines for CJ meetings are as follows. Meetings will be conducted at a slower pace to accommodate the quality of the live stream and to preserve the integrity of the vote. All participants will be muted until required to speak. Members must raise their virtual hand to signify a desire to speak and wait to be recognized. The open participant pane and click raise hand that is at the bottom of the panel. For roll call votes, committee staff will visually authenticate the voter. Members are requested to state their name and vote. For voice votes, the chair will announce the following. Please prepare yourself for a voice vote by unmuting your microphone. Try to log in to meetings a minimum of 5 minutes early to allow time to admit all members and for troubleshooting if needed. Use of emoticons, e.g. clapping hands, thumbs up, is not allowed. Use of chat, either public or private, is not allowed. All chat records are saved by default and therefore could be subject to FOIA requests.
Great, thank you, Devin. And you know, I believe that all of these protocols are pretty familiar to us already. So much of our work has been conducted through virtual meetings. I do want to say that I want to remind folks that we will be telecasting and all of these meetings live, and and they will be recorded. And so, you know, we should be conducting ourselves not like we're in our living rooms, but as if we are in the legislative office building at all times. I know that getting onto the meetings early may be a challenge for some because of conflicting meetings. We understand that this would be the case if we were in the LOB. People would be going in and out of meetings, and I know that we'll do everything we can to accommodate people. If you can let us know that you might be late, either let myself or Representative Porter or our clerk know if you're going to be coming in late. It will help us to make sure we process this in an orderly fashion. I know that's not always possible because there are meetings that run over, and sometimes there are immediate needs that have to be attended to. But to the extent that you can let us know, that would be appreciated. Finally, I want to mention that you did all receive contact information forms, and that would be really helpful if you make sure you fill those out and send them to our clerk. That way, we will know how to get in touch with you if necessary, if we don't see you in a meeting. I know that I'm not sure the form has this on it, but if it doesn't, you might want to add any, besides the telephone numbers that you might be using, you might want to add also any names that we might see appear. Earlier today, we had that issue come up. So if you use different names on different Zoom calls, and sometimes you don't remember to change that when you are looking to enter a meeting, it might not be a name we recognize. So you might want to include that as well. And I'm happy that I didn't intend to keep talking long enough for Representative Hall to join us, but I'm very happy that I did. I see that we have now been joined by Representative Hall and Representative, we're toward the end of the meeting, but we've all introduced ourselves, and it would be great if you could turn on your video and introduce yourself. I'm not sure he heard me, but if you, Representative Hall, if you'd like to introduce yourself. It might just be a little slow to connect, so let's give him a minute.
And as we're waiting for him to connect, Senator Kushner, I just want to remind him that we have introduced ourselves by stating our district, the towns we represent, and the committees we sit on.
That's right. And Representative Hall, I do want you to know we see that you're unmuted, but we don't have a visual and we cannot hear you. If you are unable to connect, you might want to, let's see, if you moved on the screen, you might want to go out and come back in or text our clerk or Representative Porter or myself and let us know what's going on because we can't see you. Before we conclude, I don't know if we lost Representative Partigliano but I know he was here earlier and didn't get an opportunity to introduce himself, but he's been served on our committee in the past. And so many of us already know the representative and look forward to his participation in the future. There, I see Representative Hall now.
So good morning, everyone. Representative Joshua Hall, 7th District in Hartford.
Great, and can you share with us the committees that you serve on? Rep Hall, I don't know if you heard me. Can you share with us the committees that you also serve on?
I'm on the Appropriations Committee and Finance Committee.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Are there any other comments or questions? If not, I will just make notice of the next meeting date. We will be meeting, and the Labor and Public Employees Committee will be meeting again on Thursday, January 21st at 10 a.m. And you will receive official notice of that meeting. But if there are no other, Representative Vargas?
Yes, I just wanted to highlight the fact that we lost one of our former committee members who was a leader of this committee and was a good friend of mine, Senator Ed Gomes, who I had the pleasure of working with for over 40 years on labor issues when he was vice president of the state AFL-CIO, and I was a colleague of mine and worked closely together when I was executive vice president of AFD Connecticut with him when he was with the Steelworkers Union. And he did a great job on this committee, and he will be missed, and I just wanted to note that. Thank you.
I so appreciate you mentioning Senator Gomes and reminding us of his passing. It was quite tragic, unexpected. And I know while I didn't get to serve with Senator Gomes because he retired from the legislature the year that I joined the legislature, I know he preceded me as labor chair. And big shoes to try and fit into. He was known to be such a fighter, such a forthright person, such an honest person. And as you mentioned, Representative Vargas, he dedicated his life to working people, and he will absolutely be missed. He was a source of encouragement to me, and to, I would say, everybody who came across, ran across his path, whether it was in the labor movement or in the legislature. And he is absolutely going to be very much missed. And maybe we could just take a moment of silence in his memory. Thank you all. And are there
Maybe I
any-
would just like to, say a few words about Senator Gomes. And I do thank you, Representative Vargas, for that kind reminder. I did have the honor and the privilege of serving with him as my Senate co-chair, and he was affectionately known to me as Uncle Eddie. He was a force to be reckoned with in the building, and he was certainly a force to be reckoned with in the streets. He was authentic, he was definitely the hardest working labor person I have ever met in my life. I have not known anyone to date, and this is not to slight anyone, including myself, that has fought for labor the way that Senator Gomes fought for labor, and he was unapologetic about it. And I hope that we all will be able to carry that spirit with us as we move forward during this session, to do his memory proud, and to continue to honor him and to salute him for the king of labor that he was. And I would just like to also take this opportunity to open the floor to anyone that has had the opportunity to work with him or not, that would like to say a few words about Senator Gomes. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Certainly. Is there anyone who would like to comment? Okay. Well, thank you very much, all of you, for being here today. We will go forward in Senator Gomes' memory. We will honor him with trying to live up to his standards of fighting hard for working families here in Connecticut. And I appreciate all your participation today and look forward to seeing you again on Thursday, the 21st. So thank you all. And with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Favor?
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.